What is going on, guys? So today we're going to be talking about chapter 948 of One Piece since it just came out yesterday. I would say it was a pretty good chapter. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was exciting for sure. There was a lot of excitement in the chapter. So yeah, let's just go through real quick and I'll tell you guys what I think about it. So first of all, okay, the cover story. I was pretty interested when I saw that, and there's some text at the bottom indicating that I believe that this is now once again canon, right? This is something that's actually happening within the story. I'm not positive on that. If somebody could confirm that for me, that would be really helpful. It definitely seems like it could be canon since it's not like something that somebody sent in or something that'd be particularly interesting for Oda to draw, and it's related to things that are going on in Wano, right? So it seems like that's canon. If somebody could confirm that for me, that would be fantastic. And also, so assuming it is canon, that's really interesting because it's describing this as a successful escape by the Big Mom Pirates, right? Now, first of all, that's really strange for a lot of reasons, right? Okay, we have Big Mom was separated from seemingly the entire crew. Why would that be? That seems really unrealistic if there's no explanation and if all of them got out okay. And like if they're all just out okay, how is she even not okay? Like what could have happened during that time? It seems really weird. I think basically everyone on that ship is a devil fruit user, so the whole situation does seem a little bizarre, and it's called an escape. What are they escaping from exactly? I mean, King knocked them over, and then as far as I could tell, that was the end of it. Even if it wasn't like, what? I mean, what's King gonna take on the entire Big Mom force? I don't think so. So the whole thing is really weird that it's even being described as an escape in the first place, especially when Big Mom is MIA. So like, shouldn't their priority be going after her? Very strange. I believe it's canon. If someone could confirm that for me, that'd be great. But it's really weird if it is canon at this point. So hopefully that cover story will continue and it'll make more sense in the future. Okay, so the prisoners in this chapter are pretty interesting. So it seems like basically all of them, at least the majority of them, aren't degenerates as you'd expect a prisoner to be, but they are people who just wanted to rebel against the Kaido and Orochi regime, and well, there they are. They're in prison now because of it, and their families were killed, of course, off screen. Goes without saying. And they're pretty much, their spirits are broken. It's nothing that crazy. I mean, it's not like a huge revelation. It was just interesting to see that that is what the majority of the mines or the prison seems to be. So that was something cool for sure. Something weird is that with this guy shooting the plague bullets, he described how these bullets were made because of Queen being a great craftsman. He's great with mechanical stuff and, more importantly, at making diseases, which is a really weird ability and whatnot. Of course, that is a reference to his name, Queen the Plague, or I guess Queen the Plague is a reference to his ability to make this kind of stuff, I suppose. Now, something I think that's really weird about that too, and this isn't too crazy, but when Kaido, well, not Kaido, but Jack went to Zou, when Kaido sent Jack to Zou, after all the fighting was going on for too long, they ended up using chemical weapons. It was basically like a poisonous gas that was made by Caesar. Now, at the time, that was like, fine, okay, yeah, I mean, Kaido seems to be okay with playing dirty, and he likes to involve himself in the black market, so it makes sense that he would buy something like this from Caesar. But, I mean, if we have Queen here now, who seems to, like, specialize in making these kind of things, wouldn't it make more sense for him to just use his own guide? I don't know. Again, it's not a huge detail, it just seems, like, kind of weird, and I feel like Oda kind of just overlooked that whole thing, so, you know, a little weird, but it's alright, I suppose. Kawamatsu finally is being shown in this chapter. He is pretty much exactly what I expected. I mean, I thought he wasn't really going to be like the super dark character as he had been shown with just the silhouette the whole time. He looks ridiculous, of course. I've looked up a lot of pictures of Kappas, and this is honestly not what I was expecting. I thought it would be like funny looking, but this is really funny. I really like how he looks so far. He kind of looks like a little quacker, so I'd like to see more of him. He seems to have human-like hands with kind of like mermanish things, like webbing. Is that what's called? Webbing, right, between his hands. That's pretty cool. And his feet seem normal. So I kind of want to know what color he is, honestly. If he's like blue or purple or red or something like that. I'm just gonna assume that he's a fish man, maybe like a half fish, half kappa fishman or something. However it works, something along those lines. Um, if he's like fairly skin colored, like Japanese people generally are, then I'm gonna assume that he is human and ate the kappa devil fruit or something. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. I mean, I guess it could matter because a devil fruit could have some interesting abilities and powers, especially if he is a mythical zone, then he might have some extra bonus powers, more similar to a paramecia or something like that. But I guess, we'll have to see. The art for him is really cool so far. His little fighting scenes, really well drawn. Thank you very much, Oda, for that. And I think he looks really funny. I love the panel where we first get to see his face and whatnot. He just seems really funny, so I'm excited. He's also huge. I was very surprised by how big he was. I thought he might be like shorter than Luffy. I thought he might be this really small thing. So definitely cool. He's really big. All right. Then along with him, my question is about the Red Scabbards, right? Okay. What exactly is their power level looking like at this point? I mean, for one thing, is there a lot of variance between them? Are a lot of them more powerful than others by a decent margin? I mean, Shutenmaru seemed significantly more powerful than the ones we'd seen up until this point. Now, Kawamatsu seems to be a little bit stronger than what we'd seen up until this point. Or maybe Oda's just been doing the scaling kind of poorly. Like, I mean, what I'm saying basically is it seems like Kinemon, Kanjuro, and Raizo didn't really seem that powerful. Now we have people like Shutenmaru and Kawamatsu, and Kiku seems a little bit better based, especially based on the end of this chapter. But it's like, okay, so is there a huge difference between them all, or are they about the same? And if they are all about the same, where are they at? I can't imagine that any of them would even be able to challenge Luffy or something like that. So, seems weird. I'm putting my money on there being some variance at this point. I think like the first three that we had seen are a lot weaker, and maybe Kiku and especially Shutenmaru and Kawamatsu are significantly more powerful than them. I would certainly like that, for one thing, for the diversity of the whole situation, and because those two seem a lot cooler to me, so that would be cool. Also curious to see what Kiku is going to be able to do. Moving on then to Kiku, something that clearly had to be addressed in this chapter. So apparently Kiku is a man now. Okay? I mean, I've talked about this in the past, the whole when he used a male way of referring to himself, so I guess it's not really that surprising. I don't particularly care that much. It's just like, oh, okay. I mean, this isn't even really new in One Piece, something along these lines, so I don't particularly care, except for the fact that I did make a video pretty recently talking about how in those flashbacks we'd been seeing, it was like 2 or 3, 4 chapters ago maybe, we saw Izo in place of Kiku. I mean, it straight up was Izo. There was no difference between how that character is drawn, except for the falling like hair that Izo has was on the opposite side of his face. And I even mentioned how there's a huge similarity with Kiku being, at the time, thought to be a girl, and referring to then herself as a man, basically. So that was interesting, and Izo being a crossdresser or whatever his whole situation is. So I mentioned that was important, and now that Kiku is confirmed to be transgender or whatever this is, then yes, it seems like there is still something going on there. I am holding on even stronger to my whole Izo theory. I mean, I didn't really make a theory. I think that was Izo. How was it not? If it wasn't, then Oda fucked up. So that's interesting. I think that's something worth looking into. And lastly, something that was interesting to me was the final panel when Kiku says, I guess we have to silence you now. And it seems pretty dark, and the mask looks really cool and everything. I'm wondering, is that for real? I mean, are we actually going to see a little intense of a situation here? It's going to be kind of dark, unlike everything else we see in One Piece. I'm saying there's no way. There's no way that they just kill these people. If it did happen, I would be so glad. I would really, really respect Oda for finally pulling out the big guns in Wano, but I don't think that's going to happen at all. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I would really be shocked and super excited if it was, but I'm thinking either they're just going to escape or they're going to be captured or something. Silenced, right? I mean, if they're captured, what can they say? Of course, they can escape, and that's probably what'll happen or something. But yeah, I highly doubt they're going to kill these people. I don't even know if they're going to attempt to kill them. Like, maybe silence them just means capture them in their eyes. So I guess we'll have to see. I'd really prefer that they end up killing them, but I highly doubt it. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I just thought it was interesting because it does seem like that's what would happen. If it was any other manga, I'd probably be like, oh shit. Like, if you read the Attack on Titan chapter last night, yeah, like that's the kind of shit I like. It's really graphic, it's really dark, and Isayama's not afraid to kill anyone. So I wish that would happen, but I highly doubt it will. That pretty much wraps up the chapter. I mean, that was the final panel, so I would say I enjoyed it. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. I will say I was a little underwhelmed by Kawamatsu. I mean, it was pretty great, but just, the title of the chapter was Kawamatsu Takes the Stage, and I guess I can't expect too much. I was just hoping for something even a little bit more than that, maybe more powerful. Again, I think he seems more powerful than the first retainers we had seen, but I wanted something even crazier. I want a way for him to show me that he's like as powerful as Luffy or something. Maybe I'm asking a lot, but I thought that would have been cooler. 7 out of 10, I would say. Not too bad. Not unbelievable, but it was a pretty good chapter. I enjoyed it. Yeah, hopefully we will get some of our questions answered that were brought up in this chapter. Hopefully we get more on the cover story for sure. I definitely want to see that. I think we will see more of that. That pretty much wraps up the chapter. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have not done so already, check the link in my description to get to the Discord that I have open. Again, I say this in all my videos now. We have lots of people in the Discord talking about One Piece, talking about this current chapter right now for sure. People are always talking about the current chapter after it comes out. We talk about different shows too, different manga and whatnot. Tons of different things for people to enjoy in the Discord, and just people hanging out, right? People just talking about life and stuff, whatever. You can make a lot of friends in the Discord, so make sure if you've not done so to check the link for the Discord in the description. Yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have an excellent rest of your day, a great start to your weekend, and I'll talk to you on Sunday with the new chess video.